Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. We are here with Yukia Sandara, who is a multi-dimensional ascension way shower, an empowerment guide, and she is here to assist us as we talk about the Unify activation. We're in a whole new space. Yukia, thank you for being here. Tell us about the beautiful recent shift.
Welcome everyone, and the last 3 weeks have been extreme high frequency solar flares and blocks. I call it solar blocks, and where the crystalline solar upgrades have been at its peak, in a variety of ways. And what particularly has been experienced, because it's always the experience that is shared, the experience on the collective and experience within the self, is a template wipeout that precipitated. Okay, not only at individual level in terms of your memory circuitry and the timelines that were in being dismantled in your particular spectrum of experience and expansion and evolution here as a soul, and I'm talking through my own experience here, my own perspective, but also collectively in the planetary soul of the planet, and not only also in the galactic, in the multiverse, in the galactical and elemental kingdom, everywhere this took place at certain levels.
Let me help you clarify, Yukia. I want to make sure that everybody heard that. It was a timeline wipeout for individuals and the collective. We just want to make sure we heard that right.
Thank you so much. And what it looks like visually, because as a visual person, what it looks like is like a computer. So we all have our own library of records within ourselves, but in this big computer, universal computer of this unified field, we have our own hard drive, let's call. And so it was like if the hard drive had been that was remaining with the imprinting and the overlays that were in mutation to be completely dismantled, were now taken out, wiped out completely, leaving a vacant space. And then another one was replaced, okay, with a new set of encodement. And this was agreed by the soul in my experience and in the experience of many others that I have tapped into, and including the collective planetary soul, that we've made agreements at a particular time of unlocking in this new earth encodement to activate this wisdom, and to activate new wisdom, and to actually wipe out completely, not just rescript, wipe out, everything that was a layer, causing a layer of density, or delaying your expansion and evolution into the next phase, whatever that is for you, and it's different for everyone.
So everything that was in old template, even though it had been part of the previous reboots, of soul deaths and rebirths, was completely wiped out, and that was deliberately brought into consciousness, from unconscious to consciousness, so that the soul could operate from that empty space. Now that there's everything to innovate, to recreate, and to bring forth without completely unconditional. There's all the programs all the programs, all the values, all the conditioning, all the outdated versions of it, the many versions, because there were so many versions of it, and being a seer, I saw it as a library of, when the disc was taken out, it was like everything was like in braille, being collapsed, and there were currents and currents and currents, of energy moving, through the light body, through the physical, felt by the physical. And the violet flame was really completely ignited. So it's like I was showered by this violet flame, and the fire of the violet light. It wasn't just it was like a fire that was inside that, boom, burst everything out and brought in the new to be recreated in whatever fashion it is. So, and this happened in my personal experience when I tapped into the collective, because there's no separation between this experience and the collective. I saw the many lights. It's like, you're looking at a network in front of you, okay, of a toroidal field, it looks like a toroidal field, a disk, a sun disk. Basically, there's so many overlapping energies and platonic solids that you're looking at. And you're looking at that, and there's so many lights that are going off and so many lights that are going on, back on. So it was, that indicated that this was not just, for one person, it was for many in the planet, and so for different purposes, in different frequency bandwidths also. So the wipeout happened to those that are beginning. The wipeout is happening to those that are already on course and have gone through the inner work and are going through the final collapses. And it also happened to those that are now working from the 5D template back in reverse, and using the harmonic resonance, bringing it back to harmonic resonance. If there have been agreements to bring in a new encodement or unlock a new template at this particular time, and to those that are working in the 5D and above already as a permanent field, and actually, within the Stargate, within the Sun Gate already switched on with one energy, one sun, and just interacting like that. a complete reboot of that energy too. So different levels, different field. This is what was perceived. Yeah.
All right, that is beautiful. I've got a bunch of questions for you,
Okay.
Yukia, but I first want to say, what does this mean for all of us moving forward from that general big
Mhm.
picture?
What it means is that there is an opportunity for, well, it is a gift, for me in upon, when I sensed into it, for me it's a gift, because all previous negative experience in our inverted matrix collectively and within ourselves, um, all has been wiped out. So we get to have a new leaf, a new take, and we get to actually do it ourselves, completely recreate, relying on the human, to actually um, quantum leap into the and retrieve from the innate knowingness within yourself, within that field, everything that is going to be birthed as innovations, creations, new ways, um, transformations into this planet. So what was also seen in the collective was a lot of vacated, political, for example. And I'd never received really details of political collective information except a visual. What do we see in the economical field? What we see in the field? What do we see politically? We see really a lot of vacated spaces. So the structure as it was existing before in our earth, in terms of governments, organizations, conglomerates, confederations, everything, has been a lot of those positions in those structures have become obsolete. So there's already vacated spaces. That was an interesting thing. So it's like a car. You see the body, but without the person. You see the body in the organogram, but you don't see the person. That person no longer exists there. And in fact, no other person is going to be existing, because the whole structure has been wiped out, and it's now going to be recreated by those that would eventually will fill those positions, with these higher frequencies, where we are rebirthing from anew.
Yes. Okay, we get that. And that
Mm.
is beautiful. So this is where we get wildly creative for New Earth. We tune into our higher self, our I am presence, and we receive the inspiration and the downloads and the innovation. Beautiful. There is a lot of restructuring to do. So you mentioned a couple of things. It's so beautiful that this is happening in the collective, whether the collective is aware of it or not.
Yes.
And so for those who understand what you said and are trying to optimize the integration, or I wouldn't even call it an integration, it's a fresh start, unlocking these codes. First of all, how do we feel this or navigate a collapse if a collapse of an old timeline has occurred? Are there ways should we even bother with that, or how do we identify that something's on?
Yes, it's really appreciate the question. It's a good question, and the one way of really holding the space for this to happen, because it has already happened. So is to actually be in complete acceptance and surrender to the new, to the new that is unfolding in the next moment, from this moment to the next, without any attachment to what it can look like, what it can look like, what this future or these technologies that are arriving will look like, because you are the technology. Because this new encodement, you know, that is being birthed through you, you know, has got the upgrades for you to be the technology that heals itself, that creates by itself, that reconstructs a new earth, that unifies the core in an accelerated way, that activates the return of all the versions of the highest versions of yourselves in multidimensional spaces, and that opens leaves the stargate, you know, completely open to a permanent connection with your divinity, because that is now constantly available, constantly in this birthing, you know, after the wipeout. It's constantly available. You can access it from your, so, you know, just opening yourself to that and saying, you know, I'm blessed by the presence that I am, and I am a creator, and looking forward to create this new earth, co-created with humanity, this new earth. This is a blessing to the earth. This is an evolution. It is we catapulting, you know, into new ways, and we are driving this together. We are welcoming all those, because there's something else that is happening that I haven't mentioned before, is that there are so many star nations that are helping us in this moment, you know, especially after the wipeout, because that was also moderated, the wipeout. You know, it had to be moderated. So during the time of that wipeout, 2.5 weeks ago, nearly 3 weeks, there were so many ships. There was so much presence of the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the Andromedans in our skies. Well, to the unveiled eye, of course, but also felt by your heart. So requesting that guidance, you know, that they are holding a space. They're not doing it for us. They are holding a space of calibration for the human to anchor, to surrender, and to create a new reality structure for itself, you know, and it's us creating it. They're just holding space and moderating these rays of great illumination that were fired up into the DNA of the human condition and the planetary soul. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, we can sense the beauty in that, and I truly hope everyone is getting ready to create with the new. Awesome. So let the past go.
Yes.
Completely let the past go. So again, I hope that we can have you take us into an experience today. We're going to learn more about your
Yes.
Unify activation, but to experience that Stargate, to
Yes.
access that
Yes.
Stargate of ourself. Okay, beautiful. Some
Yes.
questions that I know are coming up is working with the 5D template.
Mm-hmm.
How do we work with the 5D template, the harmonic resonance, and
Mm-hmm.
the sun gate?
Yes. So working with the you know, the 5D template is you know, quite innovative, because it's fluid, you know. So the only requirement is for you really to be right here, right now, present, and to just feel into the perceptual vectors that you are creating. So open yourself up to the potentials and the possibilities that in a vast variety are in front of you and are not limiting you. So they are infinite. So you are working from an eternal field, which is in beyond 0 point. Okay, so from that point of stillness and silence, you are in neutrality, you are experiencing life, you are more expressing life every single minute as you move, but you are also creating within that resonance of the coherent heart pulse. So it's a resonance field that is now in equilibrium, what we call perfect equilibrium, divine equilibrium. All right. So you're creating everything from there. So that means that everything has the potential to accelerate and instantaneously manifest as you set the intention, the emotion, the movement, so the pulse of it, the emotion of it, the manifestation of it, the action of it. So once the codex, so the full codex, is set in your intention. So in your intention, all these are, quality requirements. Let's call it this way. And all these quality requirements come from the energy of love that the earth has been blessed with, that we have been blessed with by coming together through the chaos that we have experienced in the last 2 years, like this, and really surfacing now as this phoenix field, this flame. So this is coming together through 5 qualities. The quality of love, which we call, for example, in ancient Lemurian terms, the ako ke, the quality of love. Then we have, through joy, the quality of joy, the quality of freedom, which has to do with our sovereignty, inner authority, our flow, and without any fluctuations to past or future, because everything's been wiped out. And then the final quality of truth, being brought in. So these 4 qualities are very much, the qualities that are the ingredients, the ingredients of creation, of the new creation that's being birthed. And these, the akeda, the akeba, which is the freedom, the joy. The akeba is the joy, the akeva is the freedom, and the akera is the truth. And the akoka is the quality ingredients for the element of recreation, recreating this new sense, a new space of the heart. And everything is manifested in this, with this intention, which uses sonic waves, colors, algorithms, and the language of light. Okay, so it's a combination of things that is in your intention. You have all that going on when you're manifesting in 5D, when you're working with 5D. So you can infuse it into the field you know, all that. You can also do it with through light codes, through drawing, through art, a creative endeavor, you know, so that you want to manifest it through in an accelerated way. So creating a new reality structure that is a matching frequency. So setting the intention to create a structure or a project or the next move, you know, the next move in your unfolding, in your creations, you know. So go and feel what is the frequency of that higher frequency, that higher vibration that is in neutrality, is in the infinite possibilities, and is eternal, and it's not limited now by any old template, because it's been wiped out. What is that matching frequency? And then when you feel into that, you activate it as a bundle. All right. So people work in different ways. Some work with words, some work, you know, with sounds, color, algorithms, and the language of light. And all this together then recreates a new reality for yourself, you know, that brings you peace and resonance with everything that you do as you go along. So you always can come back to that place of the heart, to that place of stillness, no matter where you are. And you can create very quickly a new reality. And it's also a sacred ingredient to bilocate and to teleport. It's the same principle. You know, you feel, you go into the field that you're creating, because you're creating the future in the now. You're not creating the future somewhere else. So if you're creating a new structure of your creation in 5D, you put everything in it, you know, it is in the cloud, like we discussed before, and then it's just grounded into the 3D reality that is still, it's an organic reality now, because there's only one timeline, you know. There's just a perception that there's many, but there's only one going on, you know, where different levels are operating. And we can then ground it anywhere in that timeline. I think you had something else that you had requested, because I've just answered the 5D and the place of the heart and the gateway of the. I think you mentioned the gateway of the heart. You know, once you have the gateway of the heart, you are operating with one beacon. So your chakra system, you know, as you knew it, collapsed. In fact, it collapsed quite a long time ago. You know, it just served the experience that we chosen in polarity, in a polarity world. So it served that experience. You know, it served the experience in the inverted matrix, and it was through those spheres that the spheres, through the spherical discs, you know, in each chakra point, you know, that communication was interacted. But there were also tap lines, meaning that there were quite a few seals, you know, in each one of the discs. So that collapsed, you know, and collapsed quite a while ago, in 2017, you know, in most people. And it was, so then we saw the merging of the, what we call the spheres of energy, the energetic spheres, into three beacons, which were the sacral, you know, the higher heart, and the higher mind, you know, and the third eye, that merged, everything merged in those 3 points, you know. And those 3 points then started getting activated, you know, and attuned to your original blueprint, which only had those three And they were not called chakras or even energetic centers. You know, they had another, names is just definitions. Let's call it, they were energetic centers. They had a specific name that was used in Lemuria and used in Atlantis, called kakras instead of chakras, and which were open beacons, of energy, that interacted with the field. So there was nothing in between, us accessing anything. We could access everything. We were everything. And so what has happened now in the last 2 years, 3 years, is that those three centers have activated themselves. We have activated the centers through the switch on of the 24 strands of DNA, feminine and masculine, and into androgyny, and that is activating the crystalline body, the plasma body, and your sun body. So you are able to actually interact from the higher heart, from your stargate of the heart, as one beacon, one sun, one gateway. And what will that do to the human is that you can manifest and create anything instantaneously, and your own healing. You don't need med beds. You don't need that technology. But of course, this is not. It's not automatic. This is organic. This is where we are moving. Some are already there. Others are progressing to be there.
And this is what you do, helping those that you teach and work with one-on-one and in online sessions. It's quite beautiful. This is really Lemuria returning, isn't it?
Yes,
It's
it
almost
is.
as if it's reverse. Is there going to be a point where these three centers merge
Mhm.
into one?
Yes, in a lot of, it's a minority at the moment, but even the planet itself, because when we're talking about humanity, we're talking about the planet. The planet is exactly in the same space, and so are the planetary bodies, like the sun, Mercury. We have Venus. We've got all the planets are in the same. They are joining into the one. They're aligning to the one sun, the one gateway. So this is already happening, especially, in the sun. This is incredible what has, the sun is a mirror. It mirrors that sun gate, that gateway. So we mirror that. We mirror the sun, and if you looked, I always get a visual, and it's like sometimes it's in a dream, but sometimes it's in the lucid dream. So when you look at the planet from the top, or from a spectrum of reality that is in multidimensional space, you can see the lit up suns. And there's many, many lit up suns. Many lit up suns. So this, including the planet itself, progressing that way. But we're looking at probably, 2000 and, another 20 years, for everything to actually, be switched on, and for people to actually all together be in a vibration that is more aligned with each other, and aligned to that gateway of the sun. But until then, there's going to be so many creations that we are bringing forth, all of us.
I'm so excited about that. And I know those are comforting and exciting words for those who are listening and watching. And you really are on a mission, a galactic mission to assist humanity in remembering these skill sets and bringing these skill sets online.
Yes,
Again, I want to share that you will do a little session with us, maybe to help us get into that manifesting space of the
yes,
heart, and we'll experience that in a moment. there's one last question that I have. You mentioned the codes. These codes are
Yes.
unlocked. So is this happening for all of humanity? And then the next question would be, how do we unlock those codes? And of course, that's what you help people do.
Yes,
But
yes. But
how do we
not only me, many people are helping. Yeah,
yeah, many people, many light workers, and we thank all
many
light
light
workers.
workers.
So how do is this for all humanity? All
All
humanity need these
humanity,
codes?
all humanity, Laura, all humanity. I was so inspired recently, to when I was in England, to be part of the awakening, the full reboot of my son and his friends. They were, they were not. Uh, this was like so quick, so quick. I've never pressed my children to follow a spiritual path, to be ready now, to of course they see the mother communicating, and they see some of my videos, but the choice is theirs, in their own timing, in their own encodement. And for me it was like a surprise, a pleasant one for me, but
So
that
can you share what happened? You said
what
they,
happened was that I was invited for dinner by my son, and he had a couple of friends, and suddenly they started asking me questions about the soul, about the awakening, about the merging of realities, about something that this was not, about the illusion, the machio, the layer of illusion that we've been trapped, that we've been, asking me questions, is this what, can you respond to that, because you've been in this field for a long time, and we can see it now, we can feel it now, so what is your perspective? And then these are, they are very quite erudite. The group was, in terms of using a lot the intellectual in their own professional life too. So it was so surprising that they were not speaking from that space. They were speaking from the heart, and they genuinely wanted to know, what do I do now? How do I get into my heart space? How do I open that chamber? How do I step into, how do I make choices out of love instead of out of need and longing or lack? You know, how do how do we how do we collapse the lies? Because what they saw was through the lies. They finally saw the lie. They finally saw and perceived that this is all an illusion. And we are all playing roles, yeah? Okay. Then that was the first thing. And then, which was very encouraging, the next one is everything's collapsing and everything, that's why everything is coming to the surface. And I didn't say anything. For 3 hours, I was responding to questions. And just, then I was asked to do an activation, and this, my son, he told me at the age of 33, Mom, it's my time to meet me. I will meet me at that age. But before, I want to experience life the way I navigate with my own timing. What has happened, I could see the codes. It was the right timing for the codes to unlock. And of course, we all coded. So if you were there, if you are in your presence, and those that are around you are coded to switch on at a particular time, and you've got the key, you've got the keys, telepathically, you transfer that. You transfer that to those individuals that are listening, asking the questions, receiving the answers, and really actively listening. And then looking for the practices, And this was like very inspiring, very, very inspiring. I mean, he's 32 at the moment, but and he had this goal, you know what it is. But all his friends that were so intellectual, so, into the mind stuff, the management stuff, the corporate stuff, the chartered accounting, really, it's totally unlikely to have been going through this experience of being asked to just respond.
That is so wonderful, because each of us watching and listening to this can step up in exactly that same way, where it comes from being asked a question. I know so many of us want to get it out there and talk about it all the time, but just the responding to the questions that you did because of their curiosity shifted it from unsolicited advice, right? Maybe as a child years younger, your son could have seen it as, I have to do the opposite of my mom. But that's a beautiful awakening that you share with all of us. And
Yeah.
when the whole world gets this, that's new earth. And I see it, I do, and it's beautiful. And one time I saw a vision of everyone just living their authentic self, and it was really crazy, and it was kind of wild, but it was fun, and it was interesting, the vision that I saw. So we
Yes.
create new earth. And so why don't you lead us on a beautiful activation?
Okay.
Help us see this from a higher
Okay.
space.
Will do. Just take a deep breath and connect all our senses, our multiple senses. So stretching your minds to go, and stretching yourselves to go over the 5 senses into the space, the spaciousness of all the non-senses that are in the internal nature of the activated 12-strand DNA that is a template on Earth at the moment, that's being really activated, and a done deal, like they say. So we're looking at 12-12, the union and the fusion of the masculine and the feminine of those strands. So taking your consciousness when the in-breath to your DNA strands. Also focusing at the bottom of your spine. After bringing the fire and the water and the alchemy of the violet flame and the emerald flame from Mother Earth. Locating it at the bottom of your sacral. And expanding that light seeing it, the currents of it in a spiral formation, going up your spine into your higher heart, into your throat, into your summer point, into the grand portal, connecting to the divine, connecting to the field that you are, bringing in the rose, the aquamarine, bringing in the blessings of the Divine Mother, the angelic forces, the solar rays, to bath you as a mantle around your body, focusing back on your higher heart, flushing it down to Mother Earth, and then exploding from your higher heart exploding it outwards, afterwards, outwards, as a sun gate. Kuala kui kua kana kuala kuala kana sorato kua kuara mara kua kuara na kuara mara kuara mara kuara mara kuara kua kina kua mana kuara sanaki koko sanaki koko rota ramna kare tori kaya laha akida akida hu Akibahai, Akiba, Akira, Akakaya, Waro, Malaya, focusing on your 144 achanaic cells. Achanaic achanaic meaning the nature of eternity, so it's eternal. They cannot die. They are immortal cells. And these cells are behind your thymus gland. And it is a whole knowingness and wisdom there in the center of your chest. And that is your innate, because you are whole knowingness. You are here to respond from that space of all knowingness and wisdom. The thymus gland is the door between us and infinity. And everything in nature, everything is, as you know, a mathematical equation. So just seeing the algorithms that we are receiving, that we are activating to the rays of light, the cosmic 12 rays of light, from that center point, that gateway that we are entering. Anything that is in truth opens up at the thymus. And the thymus shrinks every time we are not allowing and surrendering to the truth of who we really are in our core self. And this achanaic cells, the 144, they come from a word called akane, which is a Lemurian word once again, which means the essence of who we are. And just visualize these cells that passing through your atomic core, creating the infinite loop, which means that they are out of that loop and exploding, being activated, exploding, and stepping into the stargate of your heart, the gateway to the sun. You are now in a space which is formless. You are entering the universe of the core of your unified field and the core of the void. Shakwala premanaritam narenam naritanam nera maritam narironna harmaneronna harmaneno as you enter the black hole through the stargate, you are feeling the amplification of your golden field. You're feeling the emptiness and the stillness. And you are lighting up in your light body. It's activated. And you are aware of your Merkaba field, the vessel which you travel. But you are also aware that even that Merkaba field around you, in that emptiness, collapses, and that you are in that black hole, empty. Just feel into that. Aruniyam niyano anairaritani yohikwi hale hale hale. And then activate a sound. Ake da. Ake da. Akido, 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 Akido. I am love. We are love. We are one with love in this field. And you are now stepping into crossing the white bridge, and you are stepping into the golden white light. And it's the light. So when you come out of the white light from the black hole, you are aligning yourselves and attuning yourselves to a matching frequency of all your higher versions. And you're uniting with that frequency, with that vibration, in full neutrality of the I am presence that you are. And you are feeling your divine grace. You are feeling the blessing of the divine grace that's sitting in. You are also feeling the blessing of the joy, the liberation, the freedom, the lightness of being, of who you are, in your full magnificent body of light. And in that space, please set the intention. Set an intention to birth, to create, to manifest from the space of love, joy, freedom, and truth within the divine creation, within the energy of Da, the energy of love. What you want in your lives. Next. Where it is to bring a quality of compassion, to bring a quality of love, whether it is to create a project, or whether it is to transform a reality structure that is already crumbling. Picture the matching frequency of the dream, which is your reality, is not the dream. So matching, picture that frequency, picture that image of how you want it to look like, how you want it to sound like, how you want it to hear, how you want it to feel, and do it from your heart space. And infuse it with a sonic vibration. And then bring it forth. Activate it into manifestation and grounding and action in this 3D organic reality. Meaning within your body. Bring it back into groundedness, into earthiness, into your body. Grounding the reality of your new creation in the physical structure of our planet. Activate your own sounds, your own music, your own lullaby. Putting it into the cloud, into that space, the golden white spectrum, matching frequency to your new creation, where there is peace, harmony, resonance, and love in your lives. Bringing that to Mother Earth, exploding it into Mother Earth as a group. For everything we manifest for ourselves, we automatically expand and ground in the planetary soul of the Earth, our new Earth. Let's step into that quantum field together. Create an opening of that stargate that can become permanent. For every time you activate it, the more you experience it, the more you practice it, the more you start manifesting from that place. After crossing the black hole, the white hole. And you know, it's so similar, the picture of it, like the Ark of the Covenant. So if you look at Egyptian, for example, Egyptian pictures of the boat like this, you know, so it goes into the black hole, comes out of the white hole, into the golden hole. It's exactly that. Because it's the energetic of balance and resonance with self, with the planet, with the multiverse. And there we will be creating together a new world in community. So feeling into that, bringing it into your body, bringing it through that stargate, again going in through the white, the black space, back into your physical body, into the art space, feeling that Geo-Trinity flame with all those qualities of love, joy, freedom, truth, and divine wisdom that you are accessing now, that is accessible at all times, and trusting that is indeed so, a reality for all of us. And at this stage, you can also activate it with language of light, the grounding of it, and also seeing your silver cord, grounding it in Mother Earth. And you can also bring it into consciousness by creating an art piece, a collage, a painting, a mandala in the sea or with nature elements, and just grounding that intention into the earth itself. And this can be done. We recommend that do this, for everything that you want to set an intention in a 5D space of neutral zone. You can manifest it this way, crossing that stargate, that sun gate. For me, it's a sun gate. It's like a collected diamond date, and then setting the intentions and bringing it into Mother Earth and to the core of the self, to be understood, to be anchored and embodied, and then anchor it on Mother Earth. Kala kera kai hitana, sanna ki kwaratore taru, rapta kuruika ana alayana, haishna hoji hima, ishna hi ha, ishna hi ha. Krishna ha ha tapayanihi hasu asasa aka. Let's ground it. You can use the stargate to the sun gate, to go to many places in the multiverse. So you can also set that intention before the time, that you would like to revisit an higher version of yourself and collect that, all those skill sets and the gifts. So it's not only used for manifestation or setting intentions to ground here, but it's also, you can access it now to see all your, collect all your skill sets and all your gifts that you have as a soul. And they are accessible. And it's by repetition. So it's by repeating the practices. Like every day, do a practice. Like that. And the more you do, the more acquainted you get to that multidimensional space and working from that one gateway. And it's easy then to also practice the activation of those 144 arcanaic cells, which is your eternal DNA that's being activated. The more it activates, the more layers are in collapse, and or are limiting you, because the human, we humans, we impose those limitations by our thoughts. So emptying that mind in that place of the void is perhaps a key function of this particular practice, as really feeling that. Even if you don't feel it in 5 minutes, stay longer in that black space until everything is empty. So you can then move into the golden white space, the bridge, the gateway, another gateway, which is the doorway. That doorway where heaven and earth merges in that tonal space of expression. That we just here. We are here, creating, and it's instantaneous. And we're ready to transform. Transform any energy for the planet, for yourselves, for your family. So it is.
Thank you, Yukia.
Okay.
That is the most important tool that we can utilize.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for sharing it, and truly hope that people do this practice every day. So people can join you. Tell us about your course. This is ways that you can assist them.
The Unify activation series, I don't call it a course because it's really an activation series, is over a period of 10 weeks. And you work at your own pace. So at the moment, I'm running the course with QA lives, 4 or 5 lives. But I'm offering the course here at NEO, working at their own pace. And if the QA, if you are looking to engage in a QA with myself, they usually take place upon demand, okay, on this work at your own pace course, activations series. And it's usually the second Sunday or the last Sunday of the month. Okay, so, and there is an email that you connect with me to arrange for those sessions. Otherwise, you work with your workbook. So there is the course itself, the activation series, as a workbook. And it's to lit up your natural state and your circuitry, to turn them on. So it amplifies your ability to feel into that tonal space of expression and neutrality as you return home. So the course, the activation series itself, it comes from a premise that we are working from the 12-strand RNA DNA supportive encoded frequency that is being already ignited, and it's just being anchored, integrated and anchored in the human template. Okay, and the purpose is to transform each and activate your co-creator ability and skill set, and tap into that new field, not new field, the unified field that already existed, but now that you are able to access, because your eternal DNA is being switched on. So the modules, the weekly modules, composed basically of sonic activations, more or less. So you will have a video to see with codes and with a write-up about the video and the intention of the video. And you will have a meditation video also taking you through a journey. So, and the activation videos are about 10 minutes, but the journey videos are longer, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And then you also have soul wisdom. So you have a sharing of wisdom in that particular model, all right, to assist you with the with awakening that particular focus area, and also to integrate it and then eventually embody it. There's holographic codes. You receive 11 holographic codes, so one for each week. So it's going through 11 weeks, not 10, sorry. And you have, every week you've got these 3 videos, and you also have articles and ebooks to go through. And the soul technology, so you have a ebook about the soul technology and the science of the soul, and the great remembering. How do we remember? And that's for you to activate remembrance. We have an ebook about amplifying and expanding your perceptions, and we have an ebook about metaphysical relationships on earth, connected to divine woman, divine union. And you also have an ebook with a light body. How do you activate the light body? So it's organized in that. The different, you are working with key focus principles here. So you are working with dismantling first. So the first part, so the first week is, in terms of the agenda of the program, the first week is to dismantle the imprints and the overlays. So all the videos, all the activation videos, all the meditation videos, all the teachings, all the wisdoms is precisely to do that. And the ebook, the first chapter of the book that I am writing is also included in that particular workbook, which is the gift of love, giving the gift of love to life. And so that's also for you to assist you to reboot. So the first part is, as I said, dismantling, overlays. The second week, you're working with the alchemy of fire. So it's the sacred fire of the flame, how to activate the sacred fire, how to work with the elemental energy, the elemental how to feel into the sacred fire of the Christ seat, and activate that. So you work with Sekhmet, for example, there. So you have transmissions and activations related to the sacred fire burning, and also a journey. So the third week is transfiguration. So you go into transfiguration. So you've now burned, dismantled and burned. So you go into transfiguration of the self. So rituals and practices of transfiguration Again, you have an activation video, a sound activation video, then you have a journey, and then you have the soul wisdom. Then you then go into the next phase, which is the age of union. So you are unifying after transfiguring. Just like Joshua transfigured himself and then unified himself in the ascended state in 0 point. So that a unification of that, the age of union, and the like practices. Then you go into expanding your perception, because now you are in a place like, you have got a new template. So the template wipe took place, and now you are expanding your perceptual vectors, and you have available to you an infinity of possibilities and potentials, and also an infinity eternal nature of the human is also coming online. So then you are, the following week, you go into 0 point self. What is it like to be in 0 point self? How do we, what are the activations? So there's activations, there's a journey to 0 point, and there's wisdom about 0 point. Then after experiencing, going into the black, the void, the black void, and then coming out of the golden white void, just like we did in this practice now recently, you then go into, you find your resonance. You find the field of resonance that you start feeding. You start feeding your own field of resonance. You start building your own field every day. You build, because the more you experience that space, the more you build that field, the more you expand it, the more you amplify it. And then we talk about coherence. Coherence of how are we always in alignment, or always, what can we do to be more in alignment, in attunement with the self, with the center? What can we do to be in alliance, in stillness, in acceptance, in surrender, in compassion, in humbleness with the self, in neutrality with our divine spark? And then there's the fusion energy. So that comes in after the coherence. Now we are completely fused into one light up field. So here we talk about, we experience journeys as a light body. So the activation of your light body, and the activation, the global activation of the light body as a group, also, and the activation journey, of creating another reality structure with intention, emotion, manifestation, and action, to create a field of frequency that is beyond time-space. All right, that's so at the 5D and above, and that's how do you create that? And so, and then we talk about transcendence of space and time. How does that? Or what is that? Does that look like? And how do we navigate? Because we already navigated with no space or time. Everything is moving fast, and everything is moving at the same time. So your past, your present, and your future is all moving in this present moment. And how do we navigate? And so there's activation journeys and wisdom about that. And then the final piece is, how do we unify? Now, how do we now unify with this higher tonal space, with this higher, with the divine space of neutrality, and with the eternal nature of the human? How does the eternal nature of the human now unite itself and ground itself in this reality that we exist, in this body that we exist? And how does the planetary body of the earth does the same? And what are our connections? How do we connect with our our own teams, star teams, our star nations? How do we connect? Some of us are highly connected to the councils of light, different councils, confederations. How do we connect with that and stay connected? And how do we receive and give information? And how do we participate with sovereignty as a human being in connecting with the multiverse, with the galactic side of ourselves, with the elemental side of ourselves, with the totality of the soul. And that's the unification, unifying everything. So, and all is done with sound, because it's subtle energy here. It's done with sound, with language of light, meditation journeys, and soul wisdom, holographic codes or images which you design. So you are invited to design your own codes. You've got the codes that are presented to you, but it's opening yourselves up to that design of the codes. And so it's very exciting. You know, we have we've had incredible shifts in the particular group that is running at the moment, and that's very encouraging. So there is such a because it's a package. So you're working at your own space. So you have 1 week to work 1 week, but you can spend 3 weeks if you want on the 1 week. So until you really activate and receive the encodements and feel the changes within yourself, you decide when you are ready to move on into the following weeks. And so, you know, it's creating something that is bypassing the conscious mind and activating the human at the cellular and DNA level. Basically, that is what's being done, and it's encouraging that people are now ready for something like that, and the program is creating, you know, not only the bypassing that is important, but is also allowing the attunements, the sonic vibrations, the algorithms. There's a lot of algorithms, mathematical equations coming through. Many people are writing codexes in mathematical equations to open the gateways to other realities or to other structures that they are constructing by themselves, you know, in that space of the golden white light, and then grounding it back into reality. So it's creating and allowing the divine gift of your soul, because it's no one else, and the soul of the planet, and the communion with your cosmic constituencies, I call it constituencies and teams, to actually interact with you by getting back home, getting back to your home inside, and grounding it.
Grounding a higher dimensional reality, what we create here in the physical. What a beautiful course. That is so wonderful and activating. Yukia, we really thank you for this. This is multidimensional in so many ways. It is an incredible course. Thank you.
It's a multimedia course. So the PDF that you receive, it's versatile, because you tick on the video and you see the video. Then you tick on the journey and you see the journey. You read the articles. Everything is in the PDF. So you only receive one workbook, nothing else. And you know, there is the option, as I mentioned, to request if you want QAs with myself. I run them every single month, you know, second Sunday and last Sunday of the month.
Perfect. Thank
Okay,
you so much for that. Thanks for sharing. Again,
beautiful.
the link for this is on the webpage, and you can see all of the courses and the videos and the activations and the journeys. It is an extensive body of work. Thank you, Yukia, so much for this. Thank you.
Pleasure. You are welcome. And I really enjoyed this time.